Killing Floor 3 lost more than half its player base in less than 11 days since its release. Today I want to talk about a little bit about why and my opinions on why I didn't pick it up. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gumurak, and if you're new here to the channel, thank you for checking it out. A big shout out goes to my friend Mr. Gritty Kitty, who provided all the footage for this video today. I was busy wrangling with the computer rebuild when I went down from the secure boot deal for preparing for the Battlefield 6 beta. I did consider picking this up, but unfortunately by the time I got to it, the player base had fallen off so much that I didn't feel like investing the money into it. I'm sorry, Gritty. We'll have to catch ourselves on another game at another time. This is not going to be a full review of the game. There's plenty of that is actually going around currently. So if you're looking for a review, there will be a video link down below in which I will link the two videos that I referenced in this video that you can catch a good sense of the state of the game. But at this point in time, would I even recommend the game to anybody is the real question, and have I even played it? The answer is no. I have not played this game at all. In fact, I've never played a single Killing Floor game ever. So why does my opinion even matter for this game? Well, simply, I'm not partnered on YouTube and I'm not making any money, so it comes out of my pocket. So I'm a little pickier on my games than I normally used to be. So my videos are more centered around a consumer point of review, basically if you should spend your money on it or not. I'm not a game journalist or any kind of a professional by any means, but I can tell you what I speak for in my mind when it comes to my wallet. And if your opinion also fits the same as mine, then hopefully I save you some money or I introduce you to something new and fun to play. In this particular case, I hope it's the former and not the latter. So why can I tell you in the first 2 minutes of this video that I don't think you should pick this title up? Well, let's take a look. The game itself has had 3 betas, all of which have had given negative feedback to not only the player base that is going to be playing it, but to the developers. One of these actual tests was in July and had a 5-year non-disclosure agreement that didn't allow anybody to talk about it, which was rescinded by the developers an hour into the beta test because the public had bantered them enough to actually remove it. And I don't know about you, that doesn't seem like a place that I want to put my money. Then on release, things didn't get any better as the complaints kept rolling in from the number of people who haven't got to see the game yet during the betas. And they all had the same complaints that everyone else was complaining about 3 months prior to that. With it having so many bugs and a lot of them being still persistent from earlier betas, people were considering this to be an early access title. Instead, the game launched as a full release. And when you release a game on a full release, there's a certain level of expectation that the public is going to want to have from a title. And of course, the game falls way short of those expectations, which bombarded the Steam page with negative reviews. All of these items as a consumer really make you consider not buying a product. In most cases, a lot of us wait to see what happens when the game releases. And as you saw with the numbers, it took exactly 11 days for the game to plummet to its death. I don't know about you, but I'm not really in a position in my life to keep dropping $40, $50, $60, $70 on a game to wind up finding out that it's not complete, and I either have to wait for them to complete it or it just sits in my library collecting dust. To top things off, Tripwire also made it a point to completely change the game in the way the format that everybody was used to when it came to Part 2. Because of that, you were automatically going to drive a rift in your player base for some of the people who prefer the old way and were kind of expecting it. Although I'm not sure why they would be expecting it given the time that this game was announced and when it finally went live. 2 YouTubers that I've actually been watching lately because I've been enjoying their content on this subject has been Kirsty and Swift, who have been kind of going back and forth with each other on their opinions when it comes to the game, which is a shame to see because the reality is if you see the game from an enjoying and hopeful aspect or as corporate greed and slop, you both are actually correct. The main root cause of this actually boils down to one thing. Consoles. Consoles have one of the driest spaces when it comes to games like this. They do get a couple, but not anywhere near the amount that we get on PC, especially with having Steam available to us. Do you guys remember this game up above? Well, this game, Redfall, was actually released in May of 2023. Days after its release, it lost the majority of its player base, and just 3 months after that, at Gamescom, we have an announcement for Killing Floor 3. And I can't fault Tripwire for taking a genuine stab at filling a gap in a market. However, that market was severely underestimated for how long it was going to take and the amount of progress that it was going to need to be done in order to release it in a good enough time to meet that demand. Since then, there were so many other things that were put out in that space, and while still dry for the console base, it was a bit too late for this one to actually hit those marks. On top of that, there are certain issues with the game that showed a very severe lack of completion before release. We also can't ignore the fact that it's also Tripwire trying to take a slice of the pie of the giant corporate greed model that has been going around on these games for quite some time now. That would require a huge shift in our thought and thinking as consumers, and either to get them to change because they're just making an absolute fuck ton of money. As my final thoughts on this game as to why you shouldn't pick it up is only based on those things that have happened up to this point. We've certainly had plenty of other companies that have made games that had rocky starts and actually picked up later, which I'm kind of hoping for this game, because it would be nice to see the developers' hard work actually pay off in some degree. And while I may disagree with some of the monetization models and choices that they have made for this title, I would never say that it's not going to be something to pick up entirely until they actually close the doors on the project, because for all we know, they'll actually make a release that changes the entire facing of this game. Although I have very strong doubts that that's going to happen at this point, because we live in the public opinion of these types of games, and once they die, they're very hard to recover from. However, I have faith in the development crew, because even if this game doesn't make it, there's still a crew of talented developers that are able to make something new if needed. If you need a prime example, you can always check out Chivalry 2, which still is one of my favorite games when it comes to a hack and slash and just sheer brutality. So keep your eye on it for when it goes on sale and for any kind of development that comes up with it, because you never know, they might surprise us. For now, my community had asked me to cover this or at least give out my opinion on it, and this is my opinion. And I want to thank Gritty Kitty for actually starting that conversation with me, although this didn't quite turn into the review that we both had hoped it would be. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. Remember to hit the subscription button, the follow button, and every other button that there is in either to support the channel. It helps out a great deal, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
So much faster shooting now, the way I have my gun built. Alright, yeah, this gun should be good. Oh my god. The Raptor. The gun upgrades are perfect. Oh shit, I didn't grab any grenades. Fuck, I was trying to throw grenades.
Hey guys, I'm coming in this side too.
That's concerning.
Watch out. Thank you.
Whoa! I was
This
fully
place is insane.
Reloading.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Head down.
I didn't know you had
I was
bullets.
fully surrounded. I couldn't even move.
Oh, another break on the other side.
I need steel wool and a bun.
No, I executed the strike.